Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the TRBusiness Adapt and Survive Skype video series. Today we're joined by Group CEO King Power Hong Kong and recently appointed Asia Pacific Travel Retail Association President Sunil Tuli. Hi Sunil.
Hi Andrew, good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too. I'm sorry it has to take a situation like this for us to finally see each other after such a long time.
Yeah, it is what it is, Andrew. We've got to do it this way. Obviously, there's going to be no travel for a while, so we're not going to be able to meet face to face for some time. So this, I guess, is the best way to talk right now.
It is, and I do look forward to seeing you when things get better. So Anyway, I will kick off. First of all, most important thing is, how have you and your family been coping with the crisis?
We're quite okay in Singapore, Andrew. Thank you for asking. I'm at home with my wife and my daughter and our dog. Our son lives a few minutes away with his wife and his little son. Unfortunately, we can't see them just now because of the partial lockdown that we are having. We're not allowed to see anybody, not even immediate family, unless they live in the same house. But that's the regulation, and everyone has to follow it. Everyone has to be responsible. And hopefully when this thing lifts up, it'll all be okay. But the family is all good. Everybody is in good shape, all fine. Thank you very much.
As I say, I know how you feel not being able to see some of your loved ones, because I can't see my father at the moment, who's not well. Yeah. It's very hard.
We do get to go out. We're allowed to go out. We're allowed to exercise, but not in groups. And we're allowed to go to supermarkets and things like that, as long as you follow the social distancing rules. It's pretty okay here in Singapore. It's not too bad.
That's good. Okay. And how excited are you to begin your fourth spell as Asia Pacific Travel Retail Association President? And how significant is the and really how significant is the timing of the appointment amid the COVID-19 crisis?
Okay, excited may not be the word I choose to describe my feelings right now, but it's definitely a significant time, Andrew. As an operator myself, I can absolutely relate firsthand to everything the industry is going through. And I'm privileged to have been voted by my board colleagues to lead the association again during the single most disastrous time the industry has ever faced. One that none of us could have imagined a few months ago. After the first few shocking weeks of traveler numbers dwindling to next to nothing and flight cancellations, the industry across Asia Pacific is now vastly different stages in the impact of the pandemic. Let's remember this is a vast region with a very diverse geography. So we go from one extreme of India right now in the middle of the biggest lockdown of humanity with 1.3 billion people staying at home and all airports closed. Whereas in China, internal travel is starting to open again. And reports of trading at Wuhan and in Hainan are encouraging and do show us that there is life and business on the other side of the tunnel. In other countries where governments have different approaches to virus control, what we are seeing, just as the title of your series says, is that other operators are in adapt and survive mode, changing their business model with, for example, Changi is now offering home delivery and creation of new collaborations such as the one we saw the other AirAsia's Our Shop. And just a few days ago, ACI issued a call for an increase in duty-free allowances. Now, the industry won't go back to how it was before the outbreak, that's for sure. And while it's still too early to know exactly how it will look, collaboration, and new approaches will be key strategies for survival. Many people and organizations talk about being in this together, and yes, we are, but not equally. So we do need landlords to consider carefully about the support they give to retail and F&B now to survive through this and be ready when the time has come for the business to open.
Yeah, as I say, we've written quite a lot of stories about how the various landlords have offered relief, which is it is heartening. it's heartening that they empathise with the situation, which is extremely important.
Absolutely.
Just focusing on on APTRA, how would you assess the work undertaken by Grant Fleming during his short spell as president, and how will you look to build on this?
Look, Grant has been a great leader since May 2019, when he took over the presidency of APTRA, and we all wish him every success in his new venture. Grant introduced several new initiatives, including insight reports and a greater investment in advocacy. These are important and useful commercial tools for our members, and we will be continuing this focus. Right now, my focus is building on the links Grant has already led with governments across the region to seek their commitment to include travel retail within financial support packages for the aviation sector. We need governments to understand just how significant the essential role of commercial income for airport owners and the granular detail of how travel retail brings in more income than aeronautical revenues. Unless you have a deep understanding of this industry, it's unlikely you would ever contemplate that. So we're really pleased to have had the support now of ACI with their call for an increase in duty-free allowances to deliver increased sales for airport retailers benefiting from the airport ecosystem overall. So we have a big job to do, and the wheels of government always tend to move slowly, as we know, meaning we will need to keep driving the momentum on this. And we are working with the Duty Free World Council, supported by Hume Brophy. And this is also why we have reached out to a broader section of national and business media right across Asia Pacific, with our communications partner, Kavanagh Communications, leading a news generation campaign that has already delivered around 600 new articles.
That's very important to put everything out. So really, just you've touched on a few of those in my next question. So I touched on a few of them in the next one. So I just want to know just a bit about your strategy in terms of mobilising the industry in the region to support endeavours in terms of COVID-19 in particular.
Look, in addition to the lobbying and the broader media programs that I've just mentioned, I want everyone in the industry to get active and play their part in supporting APTRA and our sister associations. We've given all our members a toolkit so they can communicate directly with governments and echo our collective industry voice. My message is clear. Please use your own contacts with local governments and politicians. Leave no stone unturned. This is a fight for industry survival. There are 320,000 jobs associated with travel retail in Asia Pacific alone. If you're operating in travel retail and are not yet a member of an association like APTRA, please join. It's not a big investment, but it's definitely a valuable one. This is the time when we need a collective industry voice to deliver the greatest impact for the survival of our business, the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of people, and the future sustainability of travel retail.
And myself and everybody at TRBusiness echoes those words. Just looking ahead to the recovery, and as it continues in many parts of Asia Pacific, how will you ensure the industry in the region is positioned to capitalise as things normalise?
So what I'm going to say is that, look, China will continue its previous position as the single biggest influencer on commercial revenues. And once we reach the stage when international travel opens up for the Chinese population, I'm sure we will see a strong appetite amongst consumers to enjoy airport shopping as part of their travel. Perhaps even more so when you consider that several luxury brand emporiums downtown in key cities have had to shut. And airport stores should be amongst the first luxury retailers to reopen. Before many of these big brands opened their flagship stores, they used travel retail as a show window to establish themselves in these countries. And we could be the right mechanism for them again, with guaranteed footfall and a luxury retail environment, either as standalone stores or in the hands of experienced luxury retailers. This is a key reason why it is so important that travel retail operators get more support now from landlords while they're going through the crisis. We must ensure they have the wherewithal and all the staff ready and motivated to open up their doors as soon as airports are properly open to international flights. There may be fewer travelers, and we'll need our offer to be even stronger and more appealing than ever. And that means investment now and in the future.
I just wanted to wanted you to elaborate a little bit on the Chinese. You touched on it just now.
Well, I just mentioned that you know, China will continue its position as being the single biggest influencer, and I don't think there's very much more I can say at this stage. We've seen what's happening in China with you know, we've just heard that there have been some more flights introduced, domestic travel has started again, etc., etc. So yeah, China will be the single biggest influencer in this region, at least, definitely.
Okay, yeah, I say my question was like, how big a role are they going to play once things normalise? But you sort of put that into context there, which is great. And just what progress has been made since the association launched its campaign urging, I think, more than 45 governments across the region to support the channel with fiscal aid?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Andrew, the wheels of government move slowly. We've had some engagement from the New Zealand government saying they will raise it with the right department, but the lobbying work is still at an early stage, and that's why we need the support of our members to support us and also use the APTRA toolkit and the letter it contains that they can adapt personally while ensuring that to the same collective voice.
And just on some more like sort of more general issues, just in terms of advocacy issues, which are the most like pressing at the moment, relating like to labelling allowances, for example, and why? I mean, you mentioned I think allowances before, so maybe you've got something to add there.
Yeah, yeah, we're constantly monitoring the issues gaining momentum in the region. Two examples are the Singapore government's decision in early March to enhance its labeling requirements on sugar-sweetened beverages. Now, that comes into effect by the end of 2021. And although it doesn't directly impact travel retail, we need to be aware of the government's thinking and how they're tackling diabetes domestically and the potential impact if this spreads to confectionery, let's say, in travel retail in the longer term. In Australia, the government has launched a blueprint on the health effects of alcohol. Now, the direct impact on travel retail is that it discourages alcohol promotion and special sales, such as duty-free. So we're now working closely with Duty-Free World Council and the Australian Duty-Free Association, brands, retailers, etc., to get a measure of how this is progressing with the Australian government. And our intention is to agree to a consensus on a global plan of action.
Okay, so lots going on there. And also, do you plan to roll out the responsible retail program and codes of conduct across other categories in addition to liquor, where it has worked so well?
Well, Andrew, at this stage, I'm not sure of the answer to that because just having taken over APTRA 1 or 2 days ago, I'm still getting all the information together, so I will be able to reply to that question in a few days' time. No
problem. And just really finally, I guess, I don't know, I suppose we can call it positive. The TFWA can is going to be going ahead, albeit on a revamped way. Just what are your thoughts on this, and how will you work with the other various associations in the build-up to the event?
Interesting question. Well, I mean, we applaud the conviction of the TFWA to be looking so positively at the viability of tax-free TFWA in Cannes. Let's hope we see sufficient progress in government attempts to curb the spread of the virus over the next few weeks to enable businesses to make an informed decision about this. You know, everyone is hoping that it happens. To what scale it will be, how many people will attend. Tax-free has given some relief, some concessions on cost of stands and registration fees, etc., etc. And I think by the time this thing is over, hopefully it will be over soon, but people will want to travel, people will want to get together, people will want to have an industry event, and I hope it happens. I hope it goes ahead.
Well, that's excellent, Sunil. Thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me this morning, and many congratulations again from everyone at TRBusiness on your appointment as Asia Pacific Travel Retail Association President. I know it's a difficult time, but as I say, many congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me on this program of yours, and all the best to you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you.